Hello, it is that time of the week and that time of the day, technically that time of the month. It is time for another episode of Talk of the Day. How are y'all been? How have you all been? I don't know how are you have been. That don't make no fucking sense. So how have you guys been? It is episode 52. I'm continuing the review series of the earlier podcasts. That way I can delete those earlier podcasts and pretty much put them into a whole little gist of things and continue moving forward with this little better format. There's some things I did that I should have done back then. We went on a tangent and shit. We got off track a whole lot easier. It's one of the reasons why I'm reviewing this and I am trying to revamp my channel a little bit. Anyway, today we're going to talk about the next couple episodes that I was reviewing. The end of the Sinister area. So I've combined together episodes 16 through 21 that leads to the ending and the final episodes of Sinister. Now, going to start off with the challenge that I talked about last month was your New Year's resolutions. That was the challenge last month. So today, me recording this, it's the 7th of February. By the time this goes up, it'll be next week. So like the current week that you watch this, if you watch it like immediately, should be like the second week of February. The way I got it mapped out. How's your New Year's resolutions going? That's what I'm asking you. Are you still on track? Have you fell back? Have you decided that fuck the New Year's thing? I'll do New Year, New Me next year. So where you at? And hopefully you're in the 5%, 6%, 4%, whatever the hell the percent is that actually commit to their resolutions. Or if you're like me, you take New Year's as a time to actually sit down, review your year, and then check yourself. Like, so here, what goals did I have for 2023 that I didn't do? Right? So like, okay, why didn't I do them? And is there a need to bring them into this year? And so like, I see New Year's resolution. Sorry, I'm still trying to get fully woke up. I ain't even fully woke up. I woke up 4 o'clock this morning, went to the gym, and here I am 4 hours later recording shit. Still ain't woke up. So anyway, um, you take a look at that. So yeah, I use New Year's as a time to be like, what are my that's my big goal setting time. Okay, I'm gonna review the year and try to see how the year went all together. And then from there, I'm like, okay, so this is what happened last year. This is what I didn't do that I said I was going to do. Let me categorize and see how important that really is for me to do something like that. Right? Where did I fall off? And then make sure you celebrate the victories, which I'll talk about that more towards the end of the episode today. So how is it looking for New Year's? You trying to lose weight? Did you try to, did you have the resolution that I'm gonna lose weight, but you didn't have a plan to attack it, so you didn't lose weight? So like, instead of giving up on your New Year's resolutions, let's get more clear on what that means. So if you're looking back at your resolutions and you kind of fail, say, well, why did I fail? Right? Is it because the goal was not specific enough for me, or was it too specific and too demanding for where I'm at right now? Because sometimes it's hard to set a new habit or start a new habit. Sometimes it's hard to get a new routine going, especially if you use up your willpower. I believe willpower is a muscle. It's like a muscle and it can be built. But trying to force so much at one time will cause your willpower to get worn down. So, like, it's something that. Well, let me finish what I was going to say. It'll wear your willpower down and then you'll eventually diminish and just your willpower give out. And then you'll feel guilty about it afterwards. You're like, fuck, why couldn't I do it? And it's like, it's not that hard, like to slowly build up your willpower. But anything in life takes time. Everything in life takes time. Quick fixes never last. That's what I like to say. So, that talks about the challenges. For me, like I was saying, I didn't hit what I said I was going to do in January, but I'm on the right track. Beginning of the year, I actually had a hard time defining. I was a little late defining what I wanted for the year. And one of my biggest goals right now is just trying to get that clarity. I said before that I'm turning 30 years old. I'm already am 30. I turned 30 last year at the end of the year. It was September towards the end of the year. So it's like, what do I want for this next decade of my life? Right? And we'll talk about that a little bit later. So I noticed that when me and Sinister, when I look down, guys, I'm looking at my notes I made. When I look back on all these episodes that I did, between episode 1 even, all the way up to 21, because that's where I'm at in the review series, I noticed that every time we start an episode off, that we would always talk about our week. And that's when it was a weekly podcast. And then before that, when it was a monthly podcast, we would talk about the month, like what's been going on during the month. So that's something that I want to bring back, especially when I sit down with a guest. I've gotten Sinister moved into a new place. He's moved out from where he was, and he's moved into a different place. Still just as close to me, but there's more room. So what does that mean, that there's more room? That means that there's more opportunities for me to go sit down with him and actually get him on a podcast. He's not been on a podcast since 2021. Was it 2021? December of 2020 is when we recorded it. So take that back. He's not been on a podcast since 2020, which at this time, February 2024, he's over 3 years since he's been on a podcast. Probably because he got December 21, December 22, December 23. So 3 years and like 2 months, right? So that is insane. So it's going to be so fun having him sit here. It probably won't be in this setup. I'll probably make a setup over at his place for us to sit down and record. And before I do that, I got to fix my riser webcam. I figured the problem out, or let me phrase that. I figured out some solutions to the webcam, but I've not actually sat down and tried all of them. I tried one solution and it didn't work. But I got like 4 or 5 other ones in the backlog that I keep putting off. But I feel like it needs to be done to get rid of some of this graininess on the actual built-in webcam. Not a big fan of that. So it'd be nice to get that going again. And I look forward to that. That also being said, when we do an episode with him, or when I do an episode with him, it's going to be kind of like a throwback format, but without the bullshittery we did. Like, we'll still bullshit around and try to improve my communication skills while I'm talking to him and whatnot. That'd be fun. And you guys can catch up with him and whatnot. Like I say, this past month, I've moved him into a new place. Not only that, me and him are up 5 days a week, every morning, 4:30 in the morning. I get up 4:20. I go pick him up. We'll go to the gym. We'll hit a workout. Back home by 6 because I got to drop back off. And that has been my routine all fucking month. Well, since the last podcast. And now, for the past 3 weeks, I've been doing morning workouts. That first week before that, which is the 4th week we hit the gym together, we went in the afternoon because I kept trying to help him get set up at the gym. But there was a snowstorm that week, so every time I go to get him set up, there was nobody working at the gym. So I was like, fuck, man, let's just do a workout while we're here. We tried that shit. And finally, we got him a membership. Drinking me some of this right here. This is not pre-workout. It's actually a little caffeine droplets where I'm trying to cut back on pre-workout a little bit. I got into like a brain health kick back in November of last year, and I was like, okay, I got to do something about my caffeine intake. This whole 400 milligrams every day ain't fucking doing it for me. Like, I don't know, it amped up a bunch of shit, and like it wasn't serving me, like it wasn't good for me. So like I was like, I had to make a plan. So I've been trying to cut back on pre-workout. I've been doing really good. I don't take pre-workout that's as strong anymore, and I'm trying to get out of the habit of it. Like I said earlier in the podcast, things in life take time, especially if you want the changes to last. It takes time. You got to get your body out of it. And to be fair, I gotta be getting into like brain health supplements and taking a couple of the mushroom supplements and shit you can get out there. Not the drug shrooms, the supplements, like I can't pronounce the lion's mane's one of them, and then reishi or something like that, and cordyceps. I probably butchered those 2 names, but I know I said lion's mane, right? So yeah, there's that. We've been going to the gym every morning. I can notice a change in strength already over this past month, so that is exciting. I'm hoping to keep the trend going. Hell, if this keeps going, we might bring back one man, one bod, one dream, or as Sinister would always call it, one man, one bod, one log, one dream. And it's crazy because this gym we go to, they actually have a uh, a um, a bar that stimulates or simulates. Is that the word I was looking for? I don't know what word I'm looking for, but it's as close as you can fucking get without actually being the log to a log, you know? So he was excited to see that. So he said that's gonna have to be one of our workouts where we try to use the log. Like, fucking right, dude. We'll shoulder press that shit, man. Let's go ahead and do some clean presses with that shit. God. But as of right now, we've not done that. We've been fucking around and mainly pushing each other to the gym to build up. But but that's actually one of my goals for New Year's was trying to rebuild my friendship with them or reconnect. I can't say rebuild it because the connection never died. We just stopped seeing each other as much because our path in lives couldn't say they actually separated, but they became more busier outside of our friendship, I guess. I don't know what the hell's on my shirt. Or maybe I'm just seeing shit. It might be something my little boy did today. Like my little 9-month-year-old. Anywho, now into the review section. We done episode 16, 17, 18. We went over a principle or a technique called prioritize, focus, and ignore. I got this idea from T.D. Jakes. I was reading one of his books. I don't remember which one. If I had to think off the top of my head right now and had to pick, it would be I got the books over here, by the way. Soar. And he uses a lot of analogies about uh, eagles and shit. And soar like an eagle, fly like an eagle. Because eagles are higher than the other birds and stuff like that. Because they just soar, fly. And I was like, well, that's a pretty good idea. To prioritize, focus, and ignoring. And it kind of goes into goal setting and hell, even about resolutions, which we came back off of. And point of that I want to say is, what does that mean? Prioritize, focus, and ignore. Well, the first word, let's just break that down. Priorities, right? So prioritize your life. What is important to you? And I'm going to tell you this right now. It will constantly change in your life. Because when you spend so much time in one area, the other areas are obviously affected. Because we only got 24 hours in a day, guys. And let's be real, you have to sleep. If you deprive yourself from sleep, your body's going to pay for it. And to be quite honest, you're going to live a shorter life. Good damn chance of it. Unless you really on the ball, take care of your body. Lack of sleep is something you ain't going to be able to make up on for one. And you're going to be looking like an early death, you know. You'll be looking at an early death, not like an early death. So prioritize. Set priorities for your life, and it's going to constantly change. So if you were to look at yourself right now, right, and let's say, I don't know, say you ain't never worked out before, and you're on one end of the spectrum. If you're like me, when I was younger, I was on the anorexic side. I was under 100 pounds at one point in my life. When I was in high school, I always wanted abs, and I thought the way to get abs was not eat. That's when I was 14. I thought not getting abs. I mean, when I was 14, I thought to get abs, I just had to not eat. And I got to get really skinny. And I always thought I had like a little belly on me. So I got down to under 100 pounds. I remember when I was 16, I started working out just because my brother invited me to the gym, and I always said no, but I wanted to work out. So like for the first 100 days, so I guess this technically started when I was 15. For the first 100 days, I did an ab workout every night because I wanted abs, and I thought that was going to do it. So ab workouts was going to bed, but no food in my system, pretty much. Like I would eat twice a day. And when I ate, it was small shit, like maybe a ham sandwich. No chips though, just a ham sandwich. Or a peanut butter jelly sandwich. And then I would eat school lunch every day. So, man, I guess I was eating 3 times a day. I was having my morning breakfast, go to school, eat at school, and then I had dinner. And sometimes my dinner just turned into being a small ham sandwich or a peanut butter jelly sandwich. So, at that time, I was only 100 pounds. Like, what the fuck is that? Right. What the hell? How am I going to get abs when I'm not even eating stuff to feed my body, to get my nutrients going, to get my muscles stimulated or growth, getting the rebuilt the correct way, not even giving my body the nutrients it needs to rebuild my muscles. So how am I gonna get abs, right? You don't know that shit. Or you could be at my brother, and then, like I said, that's where I started. And then I learned that, hey, I need to actually do something with my diet and actually eat food and work out. But I actually gotta eat. I can't just work out and not eat. I gotta eat. Because working out is just a small piece of the formula. Can't finish the formula without all the ingredients, right? Can't bake a cake without all the ingredients. Gotta have the cake mix. Gotta have all the shit you need for it. Or you could be at my brother's spectrum when he started working out. He was obese, over 400 pounds. Um, but that was over a decade ago since I started. I started working out. I guess 2008, maybe was the year. That's wild. It's been that long. It's just wild. Uh, so what you have to do is see how you're living your life now and prioritize what's important to you. If you want to lose weight, you have to prioritize it. And I'm going to use that as example. Priority right there. I want to lose weight. Let's say you're 300 pounds. And you're like, okay, I weigh too much. I'm obese on the scale for someone my height. So it's time to lose weight. So if you don't have the emotional why, which means like say you're on blood pressure medicine and your doctor said, hey, someone else is going to be walking your daughter down the aisle if you don't get your life straight. That's enough of an emotional connection to help it. But not everybody has that big of an emotional why. So when you don't have that, you got to really do it yourself and try to create your own. And let me tell you, that's hard to do. Like my dad, he quit smoking years ago. Cold turkey. Why? Because the doctor told him he's got COPD. And you need to quit smoking. Scared my dad shitless. That's why he quit cold turkey. My oldest brother, when he tried to quit smoking, it was a journey. It wasn't a stop. He tried to stop, almost like my dad did, but it didn't work. It was a journey. He didn't have that emotional connection to his wife. Which I'll kind of briefly touch on that again here in a little bit when I talk about habits. But prioritize your life. So set priorities. Set priorities. So you want to lose weight. So first thing you need to figure out what makes you lose weight. Well, I need to get a gym membership if I ain't got one. Or hell, if I've been paying on one for the past 3 years and not went, I need to actually start going to the gym. Start to analyze your diet. It's like, this is what I eat normally. Damn, that's a lot. That's a lot of shit. I need to cut back a little bit. I need to research what I need to be eating to lose weight. And that's the beauty of today's modern day. Everybody, hell, I'm going to say 90% of the people on this world have access to the internet. Get your ass on there and download it. Or, I won't say download it. Get your ass on there and research. If you don't have access to the internet, find out where your library is at. Get over there. Find the books. You don't have a library anywhere close to you? Go to the store. Find the books. I don't recommend the magazines. But I do recommend books. And if you can't find books, I guess maybe start with the magazines. But be realistic. When you look at magazines, you see these crazy workouts from these people that they did. A lot of them's on gear, or they've been doing bodybuilding for years, so their body's accustomed to it, and they got to get to that next level to get it. Like me, I work all my muscles twice a week, but I consider myself an advanced lifter. My body has been lifting weights for over 10 years. So obviously my body is accustomed and used to having that constant breakdown. Now, to be fair, before October of last year, I had a big ass gap from the gym, but I was doing home workouts with dumbbells, but I wasn't really breaking my muscle down, but I was still doing something. It was a little brief 6-month break from the gym because I wasn't able to go to the gym at that time. But back in October, I got back in the gym and I've been going hard at it ever since. And I plan to keep that way all year this year. But you gotta figure out what to do to change your body and make your strategy plan. Kind of goes in the go setting, which I also put into this prioritize, focus, and ignoring thing because goal setting is the basis to achieving anything in life. Is what your strategy plan. Make your goals, which is just briefly saying what you want, be as specific as you can. So, if you are 300 pounds obese, be like, okay, I want to lose weight. Let's be specific. How are you going to do that? Okay. But when it comes to the goal setting process, make a number. It's like, let's say I want to lose 2 pounds a week. Okay, that's more reasonable. You probably won't hit it every week because eventually you will hit a plateau where your body is going to be like, whoa, now I'm constantly losing weight. Your body's gonna have to adjust to that. And once your body does adjust to it, you might have a week where you don't lose 2 pounds because your body's already flushed out everything that you're changed from that first approach, and it's adjusted to your change from that first approach. So now you need to make a new change. So start off with the current change, make a go for there, and then go for there. Be like, okay. And if your goal is to lose 10 pounds a week, or not, fuck, 10 pounds a week, I don't like that one. 2 pounds a week. Just know for the first couple weeks, you might lose a lot of weight. Yeah, you might lose 5 pounds a week. Hell, some severe case, maybe 10, but I don't really see that happening. But I'm not going to say it's impossible. I'm going to say it's definitely possible. But it's not ideal. Like losing 10 pounds, that's not ideal. That's shocking the system, maybe. Yeah, I can see that. But in my experience, 1 or 2 pounds a week would be great for me, but it doesn't always happen. And I'm at a point where it slingshots a lot. I'll lose weight and I'll gain weight. That's besides the point. And guys, you can use this for anything in life, not just bodybuilding. I'll just use that as an example. Say you spend a lot of money, you don't know what the fuck happened to it, and you want to save money. Well, you prioritize and make a plan. It's like I'll say, how can I save money? Well, first thing I'll ask you is, do you have a financial statement? Do you know how you're spending your money? Do you keep track of how you spend your money every month? And if the answer is yes, I was like, okay, well, then look at it. If the answer is no, then I'll be like, hey, that's what I want you to do this month. I want you to keep track of your spending. I carve out time every week to look at my bank statement. And then I'll update it from the past week. I got a spreadsheet. I don't use Rocket Money. I see a lot of ads all the time on YouTube for Rocket Money, but I don't use that. I do it myself. I keep myself accountable. And one thing I do like about my bank is I can pull it up on my phone and then look at my history of me spending my money using my card. And if I make a cash purchase with cash, I'll write that down on my phone notes. And then when I do sit down that time every week where I update my journal, I call it a financial journal, but it's pretty much just a statement thing. Keeping me a track of my expenses. It's kind of like keeping a checkbook, except summarized version of it. Nobody does checkbooks no more, do they? Maybe if they're not into the world of the internet and don't understand how to use all that stuff. And a lot of people don't use checks no more, do they? I don't know. Maybe they do. I don't know. In my experience, I don't really see a whole lot of checks. Mainly, I write out receipts for cash payments. When people at my work ask me, they want to ask me that they want to make a payment, and I'm like, okay, cool, I can do that. We'll set you up here. Usually not check; it's usually cash. So yeah, that's the first thing I would tell you. So you got to start with step 1. Keep awareness is always my first step. So if you ask me about bodybuilding or you want to lose weight and you're over 300 pounds, say, okay, let's be real here. First things first, What got you 300 pounds? Why are you there now? What's happened in your life? What is your relationship with food? Food is very comforting for a lot of people, and people go to food all the time when they're stressed. Like, I know people that go to ice cream every time they're upset. Like, okay, that's a habit, and that's a habit you should work on. So you get that habit under control. That's one area. But that ain't the only area you can work on right now, right? It's one area that hey, you can be aware of. And when you do fall into that, then we kind of need to go into the breaking down the habits section to help you overcome that. So just make a plan of action against that. Moving on. Okay, so what do you eat normally in a day? Keep track of that. That's where the awareness comes in. Keep track of that. So if there's something in your life you're not happy with and you want to change, first thing you ask yourself is why. Why am I not happy about it? So why are you not happy being 300 pounds? Why are you obese? You know it's not good for your health. Why are you that way? I don't want you to own it. I want you to live long. I want you to care about yourself. And money? Yeah, you want to save money? Well, why ain't you saving money? Because you're spending all of it, right? So what you going to tell me? You're going to spend all of it? Okay. How are you spending your money? Why are you spending all of it? What are you getting out of that? People are impulsive buyers. And heck, some people, I can even be like, okay, so if you have impulse control problems, let's get you some brain supplements, or let's learn about your brain and understand why you do that. So, in order to change, you got to change what you're focused on, which is focus. This is it, the second word, focus. What are you going to focus on? What do you want to focus on? And focus on it. You want to lose weight? Make sure your focus is on that. And then when it comes to ignore, you got to ignore things. So if it's time for you to get up and go to the gym, but yet you wake up and that video game system PS5 comes on and say, hey man, come play, figuratively, of course. Come over here, play some NBA 2K24, baby. You know you want to hop on that My Eras mode. You got to be able to be like, nah, dude, I got to go to the gym today. Or you wake up, you're feeling tired, you're like, oh, fuck, man, I want to go to the gym. Now get your ass in that gym. You got to ignore stuff. Ignore the game system. Ignore your body saying you're damn tired. Ignore your cravings if you can. That's just going to be hard as hell. You got to ignore some of your thoughts. And it might not just be thoughts. They might be people. You got to ignore the distractions. So, prioritize whatever your goal is. Make a plan for it and make it important to you. And you got to prioritize that. Focus on your goal. Revisit your goal. Focus on what you want. And you'll technically get more of what you want. If you focus, where focus goes, energy flows. I don't remember who said that. I think I heard it from Tony Robbins, but I could be wrong. And then you got to ignore the distractions of your life. There's so many distractions. Like, hell, let's say you got to do your workout and you're getting ready to go. Then you're scrolling on fucking TikTok. Next thing you know, an hour passed by and you're like, fuck, I ain't got time for the gym. Now I got to go work. Then you know you got a distraction that you need to cut out. Because I'm going to tell you, this right here ain't going to lose weight. This right here ain't going to build muscle. And this right here is going to just wear your brain down. But I mean, I get it. I get on TikTok every now and then. But I set myself time limits. Okay, I gotta get off. And then I gotta stick to that. If I don't stick to that, punch myself. And I'll say, okay, I won't get on here all week then. So, that pretty much talks about prioritize, focus, and ignore. I probably can go in more detail. But I'm going to end that there and try to switch over. Episode 20, we talked about breaking bad habits because that goes into goal setting. We'll stay on track for bodybuilding, losing weight for this whole episode of the podcast. So, you have a habit of eating out a lot. Let's just say that's one of the reasons why you're 300 pounds. It's probably not the only reason. It could be more than just the food you're eating that makes you overweight. But again, get that awareness going and see, figure out why. If it ain't the food, figure out the other reasons. I think food plays a good part of it, and I think a lot of it is comfort food or habit food. Everybody gets in the habit of a lot of things. So, say you eat out all the time, or you eat food for comfort, or you go to food when you go to food when you're bored, or you go to food when you're stressed out. You got to understand why you do it. So, real quick, here's 4 tips to break a bad habit. 1, understand your habit. Figure out your cues, your triggers, and your reward, right? So Q, you're stressed. So where's your body? Your brain is used to going to food when you're stressed. So when you're feeling stressed, the first thing your brain's gonna tell you to do is go grab some food. Go grab some food. And so understand it, know why, and then when you do indulge in it, be like, okay, I know why this happened. I did this because I'm stressed out. I'm a stress eater. I mean, you want to disassociate with the identity of it, but at first you want to understand that this is what's happening. So build the awareness first. Know the triggers, the rewards, and the routines associated with it. So when you routine meaning like when you're feeling it, when you're feeling that stress, how do you have access to the food? Do you go out and buy it? Do you go to Dairy Queen and buy ice cream? Do you go to your emergency stash that you have locked away in your freezer for when you are stressed? This is my stress ice cream. Nobody touch it. Is that how you go about it? Anyway, and when you're done eating it, what is the reward you get out of that? How does it make you feel? Because if there wasn't a reward, maybe it's one way you calm yourself down. Is after you eat the food, you feel more calmed down. You might still be upset about it, still a little stressed, but at least you got your ice cream, right? So you feel a little bit better with it. Or at least you ate the Taco Bell you wanted, right? So understand it. And when you understand it and you're like, hey, I need to change that, it's hard to monitor it, which kind of touches in with understanding it. Right now, how you feel before and after you engage in the habit, which I know recently here on the podcast, I've talked about breaking porn and porn being a habit and how to go against that addiction. But um, I tried to, but I talked about it then. Sorry, I lost my train of thought for a minute. I talked about it then, and then I'm talking about it again, kind of. Talked about it then and again, kind of, because it's kind of the same. I realized I talked about a lot of things congruent to each other, which honestly in change, there's a lot of things that are congruent with each other. Like if you watch a lot of Tony Robbins seminars, you're gonna see that he says the same things a lot of the times. Like hell, I watched his interview with Theo Vaughn, but like I mean podcast with Theo Vaughn where Theo Vaughn had Tony Robbins on it and shit Tony Robbins saying stuff I heard him say before. So you really come down and come to the conclusion that they say the same shit. Why? Because that's the answer. The answer is the same shit. Just said a different way sometimes. So you monitor the habit, which you talk about. You journal the habit, which you want to talk about the cues, the triggers, the rewards, and the routines of that habit. And then it doesn't have to be just journaling. You can, if you don't have time to sit there and write, a lot of phones have like a voice memo application on it. Click on it. You talk about it. Just make sure you save it so you can revisit it later. But you talk about it. You say, "Oh, well, this is why I stressed 8 today. I was stressed out. Here's my reward." Right? So, if you can figure out the trigger to your habit, you define it. So, stress. Okay, so then from there, you'd be like, okay, so I need to create new uh, options to handle stress. Stress. So when that trigger happens, I'm not going to the food. I got to create a new routine and a new cue and a new way to handle that trigger. And once your body adjusts to your new way, you'll lose the urge for the old way. But to get the neurons wired for that shit, it's going to take some time. And a lot of people have a hard time with delayed gratification. And I'm the same way, man. Like, I want instant gratification. I want instant gratification. I want to wake up tomorrow and then my biceps be bulging and me be gain 10 pounds of muscle. I do. Or be wake up and be like, boom, there's my six pack, y'all. How you doing? Or to have some stuff done. Yeah, you know. But that's just not how that works. Keep control of the habit. I keep count of the habit. And yeah. While you're doing the auto, write about how you feel before and after. So understand the habit, monitor the habit, and then the third one, change your environment, guys. Like our environment and the people we surround ourselves with, the things that we're exposed to every day, that matters so much. Like if you're around a bunch of toxic people, you become toxic. by association, pretty much, and you pretty much turn into them, because we're influenced by the people around us, and we're influenced by our environment. So the negative influences, the people, um, you have to change it to a better environment. If you're around people that have an ice cream party every week, maybe you shouldn't be around there. It's like, or your friend's stressed. Like, I'm stressed. Let's go fucking eat, man. Let's go. Like, I know I'm being a little wild with that, but I'm sure it probably happens. You gotta change your environment. So you figure out what about your environment is keeping you from. Like, hell, if I have the emergency ice cream in the freezer in my environment, I'm more likely to eat it. But if it's not there, it becomes more a nuisance to get ready, go to the car, to go to the store to get ice cream. It's making a barrier that I have to go through that gives me time to process my action more that could potentially stop me. When then compared to all I gotta do is open up the freezer door. Booyah! Ben and Jerry's, baby. Let's get it, right? So build that barrier up. Change your environment. Get around people that aren't toxic, that don't talk you down all the time. And turn it, get your spirits going. Get around people that encourage you, that want to help you with the goal, not bring you down, not stuff donuts in your face, man. And again, go deeper than just bodybuilding. I'm just using the example. If you're around people that throw parties all the time and you're the guy that pays for their drinks and shit, you're gonna be broke all the time, right? And going into that and connecting that, my fourth tip for overcoming habits, learn how to say no, man. Guy saying you need to go out for a drink, but you're trying to save money and trying to quit alcohol. Don't fall into the peer pressure. Like, nah, I ain't doing it, man. I ain't doing it, man. Can't do that no more. That's not me. And plus, I can't spend the money and go out on there. Or someone's like, yo, you lend me some money for this, girl, or whatever it is. I don't know. So it helps to avoid peer pressure. You got to get away from peer pressure, man. Uh, Avoiding peer pressure keeps you away from bad habits becoming worse habits. And I've seen it in people's lives. I've seen it put them in rehab centers and in jail even. The inability to say no will keep you unhappy. But the ability to say no will set your status up higher. And it gives you a sense of self-esteem or self-confidence, too, to know that you can say no. Because nobody's making you do anything. End of the Sinister era. So, 19 to 20, episode 19. I'm sorry, 1921. Episode 19, I let Sinister take over, and we talked about like UFOs and shit. And we had Robbie on an episode. And I'll admit, yeah, Robbie did look uncomfortable in that episode, and I understand it, Regardless, it wasn't nothing we said. I just don't think he's got the podcasting sense. We're just being in front of a camera, talking to himself, seemingly, and letting people know what's up. He's a cool guy, though, I ain't gonna lie. We talked about UFOs. We talked about Joe Rogan show. We talked about a couple of things. And like I said, after that, we talked about the habits, how to break a bad habit. And then after that, we had our New Year's edition 2021. Well, 2020. No, it was New Year's 2021. So in 2020, we done a lot. We done episode 2 to episode 20 in 2020. So that was fun. Because episode 1 came out in 2018, and we had like a whole year not doing anything. And then in 2020, we kind of went real hard at it. So why hasn't he been here? That's where I'm going to kind of wrap up this episode with before I talk about the challenge. Where has he been? Well, if you notice from the New Year's episode, you hear a baby crying in the back. He became a father. Now, that's not saying nothing bad, because not only did he become a father, I became a father too. Mine was like a year later, But within those 2 years of 2020 and 2021, I became a father at the end of 2021. He became the father at the end of 2020. So that was one thing. We both had our obligations and stuff. And then it became harder to see each other because he moved away from where he was. And at that time, he was like a 15-minute drive away. Honestly, more like a 20-minute drive away to where I lived at the time. But he moved to like a 45-minute drive away. And he didn't have internet. Getting time set out to me going out there at that time was really hard to do because I had a lot going on in my life time-wise. I didn't have a whole lot of time, and he was, having a harder time when he moved away. And then uh, maybe I won't say last year. I think 2 years ago he moved back to the same town I'm in, and he's actually closer than where he was originally. And then he moved even closer. He's like 4-minute drive right now, so he's really close now. But even then, we still couldn't make time for each other because we busy going on. I had a bunch of crap going on. He had a bunch of crap going on. Our schedules didn't really go in sync a whole lot, and when they were in sync, they were very few. So when we hung out, it was just me and him hanging out. We didn't want nothing. We didn't have any video going, no time to do a podcast. We experimented and done like a podcast for him because he wanted to do his own podcast. And I just didn't want to get all my equipment out there going for it, really. And he had kids running around. That's what happened with his podcast when we sat down and recorded. You hear kids whining, coming up to the door, wanting to talk to their daddy, and then we would take him stop. We would stop recording. He would go do that, and I couldn't really buffer that sound out for some reason. Maybe I just didn't know how to do it. I still am not quite sure how to do it. I got to teach myself how to get better quality. There was a lot of things that went into it, but right now where we're at in our lives, I'm actually at a good place where I can actually say, hey, I think I can sit down with Cody again on a podcast. And probably just be one episode, though. I don't think it'll be multiple episodes like it was before, but I do want to do a sit down episode with him. Just as a special occasion, special guest episode, you know. So that's pretty much what happened. That's why he's not been here. I'm going to wrap it up with the challenge of the month, baby. Here is February's challenge. And we ended the Sinister chapter, which would be episode 21 when we talked about New Year's 2021, with being grateful, right? And expressing gratitude and looking back on 2020 and focusing on the things that we enjoyed of the year. And I do that every night now when I go to bed. It's one of my new bedtime routines. I think about the day and I think about the good things of the day. That's just a little side tangent that kind of connects to the main topic. So here's your challenge. Here's my challenge to you. Between now and next month, when you see my next podcast, I'm going to ask you, what are you grateful for? What good has happened to you in the past month? So what are you grateful for that happened last month? So between now, by the time you see this, week 2 of February, let's say it goes out on the 16th. So 16th of February, starting from now to the 16th of March. What are you grateful for? What is good? What has been good for you in the past month? And when you think about it and you figure it out, you need to actually try to feel the moment. Just close your eyes, vision yourself, or imagine yourself. There you go. Imagine yourself there. Try to feel it. Connect to your senses. What noises can you hear while you're there? What can you smell? What can you feel? And then relive the moment. Try to pick 3, guys. If you do more than 3, amazing. As for me, since I'm doing this right now for you as an example, I'm going to go over between this episode and the last episode's podcast from January to February. What am I grateful for? Well, I reconnected with my buddy and I get to see him more. And we're kind of kicking back like old times. That's something that I missed. That social aspect of my life is something that I missed, and I see improvement in it. That is something that I'm grateful for. Um, Another thing I'm grateful for is I'm in the gym again, dude. I've been hitting the gym so hard, and I'm pushing myself again, and I've fallen in love with my workouts again. Something simple as that, you know. And I can make it really simple. I didn't get sick this past month. That's something I normally don't have. I don't get sick a whole lot, but it's something to be grateful about. So, what is something good that happened to you over the past month? That's what you need to focus on. For me, reconnected with my best friend. We're hanging out again, killing it in the gym. You know, uh, I've been killing my goals every day. Uh, I've been in like a boom, go and get it, go get at it mindset. And it's been nice. Been really nice. So, what's next? I don't know. But I do know one thing. I'll be back next month for another edition of Talk of the Day where I continue reviewing the first 40 something episodes. Thank you guys for spending your past 46 minutes with me. And I hope to see you guys all again on episode, 53? So I hope to see you guys again next episode 53. Have a wonderful week. Go crush your dreams. Prioritize what's important to you. Focus on what matters and ignore the distractions. Build good habits by breaking your bad habits. And have a good time doing it. Thank you all for watching. Peace out.